Hi, what's going on, guys? It's Almond. Welcome back to another Wizard101 video. Today's video, it's a little bit different. We'll be talking about a different key boss this time around, and I'm wanting to talk about Marshfellow. Out of all the key bosses that we had, decided to do Marshfellow today. And reason being is I feel like the videos that are uploaded on YouTube are kind of outdated for this fight because of the fact that now we have Aeon gear and we're moving forward to like higher stat gear. This fight is more feasible than people think it is. We used to have like healers in this fight and stuff like that, but honestly you don't even need any of that. So I was like, you know what, I'll make an updated strat for this fight. And if people care about stitch gear and you don't want to waste your gold keys, and this might be something that you might want to look forward to, since it is a stone key boss. It used to be a gold key boss at one point in time, but now it's a stone key boss after all the changes a while back. So if you do enjoy this type of content, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that type of stuff. And let's get into the strat. Right, let's get into the strat. So the strat is very easy. I wanted to make a consecutive strat that works all the time. And you guys are probably saying, you could just use Scald Incendiate, right? That's not the purpose of this video. I wanted to think of something that was other than Scald Incendiate. Scald Incendiate does work in this fight. You can't one round it because of the amount of res. But what you could do is two round it, but there's some caveats at play. Because of the fact that if you do traps and stuff like that, this guy has Immolate in his deck. And the chance of him using Immolate to remove all your traps has been happening to me consistently when I was trying to think of a strat for this. So instead of using Scald Incendiate, I decided to switch it up and use a Storm this time around. You can still do this strat with, like I said, Scald Incendiate. You're probably going to have to use like elemental traps, and then the turn that you hit, you put a convert, and then you do backdraft. You could definitely do that, right? Just I wanted to think of something consecutive that doesn't require having to do reactions as much. And you could just brainlessly just do this without having to think. So all you do really is just have first round, you have the first three people just do an AoE. You don't have to use Dragoon AoE. You can honestly use Fort Pip AoEs. Dragoon AoEs are just easier because it clears out the deck, and it doesn't require too much skill. So for that factor, the first three people just do an AoE, and the last person, which is the hitter, they do Empower. And you preferably want to Storm in this scenario. You can definitely use an Ice if you wanted to. I know that's wild, an Ice, but their Scion condition is like super easy. You just have to be over 90% HP, which most of the time you are. But I mean, hey, that's like, you could argue that it's not consecutive due to the fact that, oh, what if I have a dot on me in the following round, he does, I don't know, Raging Bull, and he detonates the dot, which is possible because he does have Raging Bull in his deck. So that's why I'm kind of like thinking of strats that are just consecutive. So you just Empower, and you want to go for a Storm hitter in this fight, and that's the first round. You want to kill the minions first. That's the whole point of this strat. You got to kill the minions first. It's ideal because they have a lot of cheats, and we're just gonna ignore all the cheats, right? So let's just kill all the minions, make it simple. Round two, you guys have a couple options. You guys are probably wondering, why aren't you using Feint? Why aren't you using Mass Feint? He removes them. You can use a Protected Feint, but the thing is, what happens is when you do a Protected Feint, it removes all the traps on the field. So, or on him specifically. So you could put it as your first trap, but this goes back to my ideology of what if he immolates, If he immolates, then you lose that Feint. And I wanted to do something different, like I said. So for that reasoning, we're doing Elite traps and Storm traps. So it doesn't matter the order you guys do them, just make sure you guys don't stack the same trap. So you're doing Storm trap and then like two Elite traps. There you go. And then the last person's gonna aura. They can use Frenzy, they can use whatever aura, just something that's a consecutive buff, and just, instead of just sitting there, right? I wouldn't Blade preferably. I just aura, honestly. Yeah, that's the whole point of round two. Now round three is where you're obviously hitting, and all you're doing is doing more traps. Very simple, just more traps, and then the last person can Scion or they can Storm out. So I had Storm out in my deck just because of animation time, but you can honestly use Scion, you can use Storm out, just depends on your preference, right? And how fast you want to farm this. I was just using Scion just because you never have an issue where you don't kill, especially if you have decent stats, and let's say he shields and stuff like that, you can pierce most of it. Like you'll have like 20 something pierce or 20 minus 20 left on it. But if you use a Scion, you're always gonna kill no matter what, regardless of the shield. But just use Scion, honestly. I know there's some strats where it's like you can use Fire Scion, you know, put converts, use a Pierce Blade. There's so many different strats for this, but you know what? The consecutive strat is just using a Storm and not having to think, because if he immolates, you lose all those traps. And that's why I don't use any universal traps at all in this fight either, because of that immolate. So that's basically the strat, right? Very simple. It's literally just hit, and then just empower. I guess you are using empower TC, but that's the only sucky part. I mean, if you want, you can dual school, use a dorm, and I don't know what you would use either. I don't even know what hit you would use. I mean, hey, you can probably use something, right? Maybe use like the teacup and dual school with the death. Sure thing. So you don't have to use TC empowers, but empower shouldn't be that bad. So do that, and then obviously round 2 you're just spamming traps, and then an aura. Third round, more traps and aura. For the third round, you could use universal traps like curse or hex if you really wanted to, right? But I just use elemental traps for this scenario because we had different versions of elemental traps, so it just worked. And then we had one person that was on storm, so all I did was just do different storm traps, and it works out, right? So I highly recommend you do that. Now, why are you farming this boss, right? I know pretty much a lot of people are gonna say, well, what's the point of this boss? The gear is trash, right? You're not gonna use the Wonderbar gear anymore, because obviously we're in an age where just Aeon is just meta. I know some people can argue, hey, maybe I want to use some of the Wonderbar gear that you get from here. Sure, you could definitely can, but there's other stuff that drops from here. The wands used to be good back in the day. It was mainly for PvP, right? That was the whole point of the wands. But obviously time flies by and stuff gets power crept, so no one really touched this boss anymore. But let's say you care about stitch gear, you know, you care about mounts, stuff like that. This is still a pretty good boss if you want stuff like that. It does have like insignia stitches, stuff like that. Like it has the timeless gear that's people like use in their stitches. There's the wand, the Wonderbar wand, that like a lot of people like using in their stitches too, like the little candy looking lollipop thing or whatever. People use that. There's also the Marshfellow wand that literally drops the marshmallow, but that one I actually wanted to farm it, so that's why I kind of was like, you know what, no one's posted a video that's like updated, or a lot of stuff is outdated, so it's like, you know what, let's update it real quick just for the sake of YouTube content. And that's mainly why I farmed it. And there's also some mounts that you can get from here, like there's the gummy mounts, like of the bunnies. You can get those, like 3 different variations, and there's also a chocolate mousse that drops from here. So maybe if that's something that piques your interest, definitely I would highly recommend that you farm this. You know, it's only stone keys. I know some people can argue like, oh, I want to use stone keys on other things, like, you know, Aphrodite for example, to get that energy gear. People want to farm the Darkmoor amulets right now currently for the raids and stuff like that, or even just PvP. I've seen people farm those. And there's some other stuff that people have been farming for stone keys at least. So definitely down the line you guys should see some videos regarding all the key bosses and updated strats for all of them, and basically more of a consecutive farm. So be on the lookout for that type of stuff, and there will be some more raid videos. I think I'll try to upload a raid video within the next couple of days. I am sitting a lot, like I said, on a lot of footage, as I talked about in my previous video, but kind of like feel iffy about raids right now just because of all the bugs. And I know the devs are gonna say, well, the bugs shouldn't stop you, this, that. It's just annoying that things don't get fixed, right? Things do get fixed, it just takes a long time, which kind of sucks. So that's about it, but hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that type of stuff, and if you guys do want to join the guild, definitely join the Discord down below as always, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.